Hey everyone, how are you? Ready to really get into meditation today?
Always ready.
I know a lot of you are interested in this,
Yeah.
so we're really going to take a deep dive today.
Rise up.
We're going way beyond just finding a quiet spot and all the typical stuff you hear.
Okay.
We're going to be looking at Buddhist philosophy, some really cool psychology research,
Cool.
and really trying to figure out what makes meditation tick, what makes it work,
I like it. Let's do
and
it.
how it can transform your life
Yeah.
in ways you might not expect.
Sounds good.
So, there are a lot of misconceptions about what meditation is and isn't.
Yeah, there are. A lot of people have the wrong idea.
And I think to really understand how to use it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to understand, where it came from,
Yeah.
like how it was designed and what it was meant for.
Absolutely. It's like any tool,
Yeah.
You got to know how to use it properly to get the most out of it.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So, the source material we're looking at keeps mentioning this idea of mindfulness.
Yeah, mindfulness is key.
What does that actually mean? Like in the context of meditation?
Mindfulness is really all about being present in the moment,
Okay.
like truly present.
Okay.
Not judging yourself, not getting caught up in your thoughts and feelings.
Yeah.
It's about noticing them, but not letting them carry you away.
Okay.
It's like, imagine your mind is like a stormy ocean, all those waves crashing around.
Yeah.
Meditation is about becoming like the shore.
Oh, okay.
So you can watch those waves, those thoughts and feelings come and go without getting swept away. You're just observing.
Okay.
So it's not about emptying your mind completely. It's
Yeah.
about learning to observe without getting totally caught up in it all.
Okay, I think I'm starting to get it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's more like you're not trying to stop thinking.
Right.
You're just trying to learn how to observe those thoughts without getting sucked in by them.
Right. Exactly. That's it. And the really cool thing is neuroscience is showing us how meditation physically changes our brains.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty amazing, actually. The source material talks about how meditation makes the prefrontal cortex more active.
Okay.
And that's the part of your brain that handles focus, decision making, all that good stuff.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it actually calms down the amygdala,
Okay.
which is the fear center of your brain.
So it's like rewiring your brain for calmness and clarity.
Exactly. It's like you're basically training your brain to be more chill.
That's incredible.
It is pretty amazing.
I know I've always struggled with overthinking, worrying.
Yeah, I hear that a lot.
Could meditation actually help with that?
It totally can. By practicing regularly, you're basically strengthening those neural pathways
Yeah.
that are all about calmness, focus, emotional control.
Okay.
It's like you're building mental muscle.
Okay.
You're getting stronger in those areas.
So we've got the science, like the calmer brains, but the source also dives into the spiritual side of meditation, those roots in Buddhist teachings.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about that?
In Buddhism, meditation is more than just relaxation.
Okay.
It's really a path to awakening.
Awakening.
Yeah.
Okay, that sounds kind of mystical. Can you explain that a little bit?
Sure. It's about understanding the nature of reality
Yeah.
and your place in it.
Okay.
Buddhist philosophy teaches that happiness
Okay.
doesn't come from external things, like stuff you own or achieve.
Okay.
It's about finding that inner peace, contentment,
Yeah.
understanding that everything is kind of impermanent and connected.
Okay.
And meditation helps us tap into that.
Okay, so it's less about chasing fleeting external pleasures
Right.
and more about cultivating a deeper, more lasting sense of well-being from within.
Exactly. You got it.
Okay.
And that change in perspective, it can really shift how you experience, everything in your life.
This is making me think about meditation in a totally different way.
That's great.
I'm sure our listeners wondering okay, so how do you actually get started?
Yeah, that's the big question.
What are those first steps?
Well, the source we're looking at gives us a really practical guide. 7 steps for setting up a daily practice.
Okay.
Just 10 minutes a day.
Okay, that sounds doable. 10 minutes a day.
Right.
Anyone can do that, right?
Anyone can find 10 minutes. And the key is consistency.
Okay.
Doing it every day, even if it's just for a short time, is more important than trying to squeeze in a marathon session once a week.
Yeah, makes sense. So it's not about being perfect at it.
Right.
It's about showing up regularly.
Exactly. Showing up and doing the work, even if it's just a little bit each day.
That's encouraging to hear.
Yeah.
So can we break down some of those steps, those first few steps?
Sure. The first step is all about finding a good spot to practice.
Okay.
Somewhere quiet, peaceful, where you won't be interrupted. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, just a simple chair or cushion.
Yeah.
It's really about creating that sense of stillness, intentionality.
That's like setting the stage for some inner exploration.
Exactly. You're telling your mind and body, hey, this is time for me, time to connect with myself.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
So it's about creating that ritual, a dedicated space for cultivating that peace.
Yeah, exactly.
It's beautiful. Okay, so what's step 2?
Step 2's all about finding a consistent time to practice.
Okay.
It could be first thing in the morning,
Yeah.
maybe during your lunch break, before bed,
Yeah.
whatever works best for you.
Yeah.
The important thing is to make it a regular part of your routine.
Makes sense. What's next?
All right, step 3 is all about getting comfortable.
Okay.
Find a posture that feels good for you, where you can be both alert and relaxed.
Okay.
You can sit in a chair with your feet flat on the floor or on a cushion with your legs crossed. Maybe even lie down if that's what's comfortable for you.
So no need to contort yourself into a pretzel.
Exactly. No pretzels needed. It's all about finding what feels good for your body.
Yeah.
It's about feeling supported, at ease, so you can turn your attention inward.
Awesome.
And that brings us to step 4, which is all about focusing on your breath.
Ah, the breath. I've heard that's a really common anchor in meditation.
It is.
Why is that?
Well, think about it. Your breath is always there, right?
Yeah.
It's like this constant reminder of the present moment. And by gently focusing on the sensation of your breath as you breathe in and out,
Yeah.
you're training your mind to stay grounded in the here and now.
So we're using the breath as that focal point, like an anchor to keep us from drifting off in our thoughts.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. It's your anchor to the present moment.
Makes sense.
And it's something you can always come back to no matter what's going on in your mind.
But I imagine, the mind will wander, especially when you're first starting out.
Oh, it definitely will. It's natural. The mind loves to wander.
Right, so step 5 in the guide must be about what to do when those distractions inevitably pop up.
Exactly. Step 5 is all about noticing when your mind has wandered without judgment
Okay.
and gently guiding it back to the breath. It's like training a puppy.
Oh.
Gentle redirection, not punishment. Just gently bringing your attention back to the present.
Gotcha. So how do you actually, guide your mind back to the breath?
It's really simple. Just acknowledge the thought.
Okay.
Maybe say to yourself, thinking,
Yeah.
and then gently shift your attention back to the physical sensations of your breath.
Okay.
The rise and fall of your chest, the feeling of the air as you breathe in and out.
Okay, so you're not trying to fight those thoughts.
Yeah.
You're just noticing them and then gently redirecting your attention back to the breath.
Exactly. It's a practice of being kind to yourself, of cultivating that awareness without getting frustrated.
That sounds surprisingly simple.
It is, but don't underestimate the power of simplicity.
What about step 6?
Step 6 is all about patience.
Okay.
You're not trying to achieve some kind of mystical state of bliss or emptiness.
Yeah.
It's a practice, a journey.
Okay.
Some days will be easier than others.
I'm definitely the type to get frustrated if I don't see results right away.
Yeah, I understand. It's common to want to see those instant benefits.
Yeah.
But the key is to remember that meditation is a process, not a destination. It's about showing up consistently, even when your mind feels like a whirlwind.
Okay.
And trusting that the benefits will unfold over time.
So even if it feels like you're failing at meditation,
Right.
you're actually training your mind to be more present and aware.
Exactly. Every time you notice your mind wandering and gently guide it back, you're strengthening that muscle of awareness.
And that brings us to the final step.
Yes. Step 7 encourages you to reflect on your practice.
Okay.
Just take a few moments after each session to notice how you feel.
Yeah.
What shifts are you observing in your thoughts, emotions, or even your physical sensations?
So it's about tuning in to those subtle changes, those little wins along the way.
Yeah, those little wins add up over time.
Okay. I have to admit, I'm feeling more inspired to give this a try.
That's great to hear.
But what about the results? The source material mentions all these incredible benefits.
Yeah, there are a lot of benefits.
Can 10 minutes of meditation a day really make that much of a difference?
It really can. And remember, those 10 minutes are just the starting point.
Right.
As you deepen your practice and integrate those principles of mindfulness into your daily life, the benefits become even more profound.
So it's not just about feeling calmer during those 10 minutes.
Right. It's about more than that.
It's about creating a ripple effect that impacts all areas of your life.
Exactly.
So-
It's about taking those skills you're developing on the cushion and applying them to your everyday life.
So give us an example. Like, what's one of the first benefits people usually notice?
Well, one of the most common benefits is increased emotional resilience. Remember that analogy of the mind as a turbulent ocean?
Yeah.
Meditation helps you become that calm observer of the waves of emotions, rather than getting swept away by them.
So it's not about suppressing emotions, but about learning to ride those waves with more skill and grace.
Exactly. You develop a greater capacity to witness your emotions without judgment,
Okay.
which allows you to respond in a more balanced and skillful way,
Yeah.
even in challenging situations.
That would be a game changer,
It can be.
especially in our fast-paced, often stressful world.
Yeah, it's a great tool for navigating those challenges.
What other benefits does the source highlight?
Well, beyond emotional regulation, research has shown that meditation can enhance focus, improve sleep quality, boost your immune system, and even reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression.
Wow, that's quite a list.
It is.
It sounds like meditation is a holistic practice impacting both our mental and physical well-being.
It absolutely is. It addresses the whole person.
And the source also mentioned some interesting research on the impact of meditation on attention and cognitive function.
Yeah, that's fascinating stuff.
Studies have shown that regular meditators have increased gray matter in the hippocampus,
Yeah,
which is the area of the brain associated with learning and memory.
exactly. It's like exercise for your brain.
So it's not just about feeling calmer, it's about actually enhancing your cognitive abilities.
That's right.
That's incredible.
It is. And it connects back to that Buddhist concept of samadhi,
Okay.
which refers to a state of deep concentration and clarity of mind.
Okay.
Through meditation, we're essentially training our minds to be more focused and present, which naturally improves our cognitive abilities.
I'm starting to understand why so many successful people swear by meditation. It seems like a secret weapon for productivity and well-being.
Yeah, it can be. It's like a superpower that anyone can develop.
And it's not just about individual benefits either. The source also talks about the impact of meditation on relationships.
That's right.
Really? I hadn't thought about that connection before.
It makes sense when you consider that meditation cultivates qualities like compassion, empathy, and mindful communication.
Okay.
By learning to observe our own thoughts and emotions without judgment, we become more attuned to the experiences of others.
It's not just about me feeling better.
Right.
It's about creating more harmonious and supportive relationships with the people around us.
Exactly. It's about connection, understanding, and compassion.
This is so much more than I expected. We've gone from the basics of meditation to the science behind it, the spiritual roots, and now these incredible ripple effects it can have on our lives and relationships.
And we're just getting started.
Wow. I'm feeling really inspired.
That's great to hear.
But before we wrap up this first part, is there one key takeaway you want to leave our listeners with?
Yeah.
Something to really think about as they embark on their own meditation journey?
I'd say this. Meditation isn't about escaping from life.
Okay.
It's about showing up for it more fully, with greater awareness, compassion, and clarity.
Beautifully said. And I think our listeners are probably feeling just as inspired as I am to start exploring the transformative power of meditation.
I hope so. It's a truly remarkable practice.
It really is.
It has the potential to change not just our minds, but our entire experience of life.
Well said. We'll be back after a short break to explore one final crucial point. The idea that meditation is more than just a technique. It's a way of being. Stay tuned.
I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so it's not just about those 10 minutes you spend sitting in silence, right?
Right. It's bigger than that.
It's about bringing that presence, that awareness to everything you do.
Exactly. Yeah, it's about waking up from that autopilot mode, you know? We
Okay.
all kind of slip into that. Instead of, just rushing through your day,
Yeah.
reacting habitually to everything, you become more conscious
Okay.
of your thoughts, your actions, how you interact with people.
I can see how that would be a total game changer.
It is. It really is.
But it also sounds like a pretty big leap,
Yeah.
Going from 10 minutes of meditation to living a mindful life.
Right.
How do you actually bridge that gap?
It starts with those small moments,
Yeah.
Those consistent moments of awareness that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
As you get deeper into your practice,
Mm-hmm.
you'll start to notice those moments kind of popping up in your everyday life.
Okay.
It could be something as simple as paying attention to how your feet feel on the ground when you walk.
Okay.
Or, really savoring each bite of food, really tasting all the flavors.
Okay, so it's about those little pauses.
Yeah.
Those glimpses of awareness that kind of snap you out of that autopilot.
Exactly, exactly.
Okay.
And as you keep practicing this,
Yeah.
those moments, they start to expand,
Okay.
You start bringing that same awareness to your conversations,
Uh-huh.
really listening to what the other person is saying.
Yeah.
Without interrupting, without letting your mind wander off.
But that's a good one. I know I'm guilty of that, like not always being fully present when I'm talking to someone.
Yeah, it's a common thing.
My mind just like jumps ahead,
Right.
starts thinking about what I'm going to say next.
Exactly. You all do it. But with practice,
Yeah.
you can train yourself to be more present, more attentive.
Okay.
And that can really change your relationships.
It's about making those connections like more real.
Absolutely. More authentic.
Yeah.
Deeper.
Okay.
And, this mindful awareness, you can apply it to anything.
Okay.
Think about your work, for example.
Yeah.
Imagine approaching each task with focus, with intention.
Okay.
Instead of feeling overwhelmed by your to-do list,
Right.
you give your full attention to each thing, one at a time.
It's like finding that flow state, right?
Yes, exactly.
Where you're just completely absorbed in what you're doing.
Yeah, and that can lead to, being more productive, more creative,
Mm-hmm.
even more satisfied with your work.
Wow. I'm starting to see how this all fits together.
Yeah, it all connects.
It's like meditation is the training ground,
Right.
for developing all these amazing skills
Exactly.
that you can then use to create a better life, a more fulfilling life.
That's the whole point. It's not just about seeking bliss for 10 minutes a day.
Yeah.
It's about developing a way of being, something that influences everything you do.
This has been so eye-opening.
Glad to hear it.
We started with the basics of meditation, then the science behind it,
Yeah.
the spiritual roots,
Mm-hmm.
and now like this vision of mindful living.
It's a beautiful thing.
And it's not about being perfect.
Right. Nobody's perfect.
It's about progress, about showing up,
Yeah.
trusting that those small moments of awareness will like ripple out
Exactly.
and create real change.
It's amazing how powerful those small moments can be.
So for anyone listening who's like ready to start their own meditation journey,
Yeah.
what's the one thing you want them to remember?
Start small,
Okay.
be patient, and trust the process. Even 10 minutes a day can make a huge difference.
That's great advice. And we'll be sure to include some resources in the show notes for anyone who wants to explore this further.
Absolutely. There's a ton of great information out there.
But the most important thing is to just begin, right?
Yeah, just start. Take that first step and see where it takes you.
This has been such a great conversation.
I've enjoyed it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into meditation.
My pleasure.
We hope you've learned some valuable things and feel inspired to explore the power of mindfulness.
Yeah, it's a powerful tool.
Until next time, may you find peace, clarity, and joy in every moment.
Beautifully said.
So we're back.
Back again.
You were saying before the break that meditation is like more than just a technique.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a way of being.
Exactly. It's not just something you do for 10 minutes a day.
Right.
It's something that becomes a part of you.
Okay, so how do you actually like make that transition?
Yeah. Well, it's about taking those principles we've been talking about, like mindfulness and awareness,
Yeah.
and weaving them into your everyday life.
So it's not just about the time you spend, sitting on the cushion.
Right.
It's about bringing that same awareness to everything you do.
Exactly. Like imagine you're walking down the street.
Yeah.
Instead of rushing to your destination, lost in thought, you really pay attention to each step you take. You feel your feet connecting with the ground. You notice the sensations of your body moving.
Okay.
You become aware of the sights, the sounds, the smells around you.
So it's like you're really present in that moment.
Exactly. You're not lost in your thoughts about the past or the future.
Yeah.
You're right here, right now, experiencing life as it unfolds.
And how does that like translate to other areas of life?
Well, think about your relationships. How often are you really present when you're interacting with someone?
You have a point.
Are you fully listening to what they're saying? Or is your mind wandering, thinking about what you're going to say next?
Yeah, I think we're all guilty of that sometimes.
Absolutely. But when you bring that mindfulness to your conversations, you start to really hear what the other person is saying. You connect with them on a deeper level.
It's about being more intentional, more present in those interactions.
Exactly. And that can make a huge difference in the quality of your relationships.
And what about work? How can we be more mindful in our work life?
It's about bringing that same focus and attention to each task you do.
Okay.
Instead of feeling overwhelmed by your to-do list, you approach each item with a sense of purpose.
So it's about breaking things down, focusing on one thing at a time.
Exactly. And when you're fully present with what you're doing, you're more likely to find that flow state where you're completely absorbed in the task at hand.
That sounds amazing.
It is. And it can lead to greater productivity, creativity, and even job satisfaction.
So it's like meditation is the foundation for all of this.
Yeah, it's the training ground where you develop those skills of mindfulness and awareness.
And then you can take those skills and apply them to every area of your life.
Exactly. It's not just about sitting on a cushion for 10 minutes a day. It's about cultivating a way of being that permeates everything you do.
This has been such an incredible conversation.
I've really enjoyed it.
We've covered so much ground, from the basics of meditation to the science behind it, the spiritual roots, and now this beautiful vision of mindful living.
It's a journey for sure.
It is. And for anyone listening who's feeling inspired to start their own journey, what's the one thing you want them to remember?
I would say just start.
Okay.
Don't overthink it. Don't worry about doing it perfectly. Just find a quiet spot, sit down, and focus on your breath.
Even for a few minutes each day.
Exactly. Even a few minutes can make a difference.
That's great advice.
And remember, it's a practice.
Yeah.
There will be days when it feels easy and days when it feels challenging.
Right.
But the key is to keep showing up, keep practicing, and trust the process.
That's beautiful. And for anyone who wants to learn more, we'll be sure to include some helpful resources in the show notes.
Absolutely. There's a wealth of information out there.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the world of meditation. We hope you found it valuable and inspiring.
It's been a pleasure.
Until next time, may you find peace, clarity, and joy in each and every moment.
Beautifully said.